On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Tony becomes a legend, Ethan delivers a message, and Shannon plays a game within a game. We talk about the biggest news of the week and then answer your questions. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
Hey.
What's up, sir?
Let me breathe for a moment.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Nothing's up.
So we managed to stall starting the recording just long enough for me to finish watching the football game that was on TV.
Oh, who was playing?
San Antonio and San Diego.
Okay.
It's a brand new football league that just started today.
It's not XFL2, is it?
No, that starts next year. This is the
Oh.
league that's trying to beat the XFL to the punch. It's the Alliance of American Football, and their opening week was today and tomorrow.
So football or soccer football?
It is football. It is real, honest to goodness American football.
I guess I could have explained that a little better. So it's soccer squared. Got it.
Yes.
They kick blocks around.
Yep. That's exactly what they do. It's really hard to get that ball rolling.
I mean, it's a block, so it doesn't roll very well.
No, it doesn't. I tried to make a soccer game in Minecraft once. It didn't work.
Splatoon works. That's the cool thing.
It's true. That's true. We should really. I should start that back up so we can play that.
If there's enough interest, we might.
So, but also joining us this week, Ethan, we got Shannon.
No way.
Does this mean that football's going to be on TV year round now?
Well, this league only runs for 10 weeks.
Okay.
And there's 8 teams. They'll have a 4-team playoff, so it'll only last like 2 weeks. So like 12 weeks of football is what you got now.
Okay. That's not too bad.
So they wanted to start the week after the Super Bowl, and they did. And it was a pretty good game that I watched. So
It's actually a smart idea.
Yeah, that is kind of smart because they're going to fill the deficit of people who just want to watch football and they don't care who's on.
yeah. And this one is actually they seem to be off to a good start. They've partnered with the NFL Network to have games appear on there. So
What?
CBS is going to air a game every week, at least one game every week, and then the NFL Network will air at least one game every week.
You don't see New Japan fights on WWE. How do they make this happen?
I guess the NFL wants to use this as kind of like a minor league, which we've never really had before. So if this does well, you could see like this could be a place where like college players go if they're not quite ready for the NFL, but they want to play professional football.
This is where the ones who've already had a concussion go.
Maybe.
You've got just a little too much head trauma, even though you're good.
So, yeah. But yeah, I actually hope it does really well. I'd like to see another professional football league out there. But once baseball season starts, I won't care.
It's very
Rightfully so.
Baseball season's where it's at. I only watch football because baseball's not on in the middle of winter.
Well, never mind. I'm not going to get into the sports talk because I know nothing. Like, I managed to make it all year without having to sit through a football game, no matter. Like, I just avoided it. So
I think I watched 2 football games all NFL season long, and I only watch if the Panthers are playing. I don't really care about any of the other stuff. But then once the Panthers were eliminated from the playoffs, I was like, whatever, I don't care. Whoever wins the Super Bowl wins the Super Bowl. Congratulations, Tom Brady. Whoop-de-doo. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. all by himself. So
Okay.
Some real skill right there.
he's really good. What game have you been playing, Shannon?
I went back and jumped into Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. I started this game the week it came out. It got me right in a week where I was slow on Dragon Quest, and then I very quickly stopped playing Travis Strikes Again when Kingdom Hearts came out. So
Yeah.
I was 3 games down on the. Okay, this isn't No More Heroes 3. I just have to clearly state that this is like a side story filling the gap and gauging public interest before Suda comes out and just makes a No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
This is a game where you plays Travis, and Badman, who is the father of one of the assassins Travis killed in a previous No More Heroes game, comes to murder Travis.
Okay.
And in the process of that fight, they get sucked into the Death Drive 2, which is an unreleased video game console. And now you guys have to fight your way through all of these games in the Death Drive 2 to make it out alive. There are 7 games in total from what I come to understand, there's 7 games across the Death Drive system that you have to play through. I just finished Coffee and Donuts, which is the 4th game. These are basically like top-down hack and slash with some puzzle elements. Each one of these games, they all kind of follow the same. You're running around, you're fighting the same kind of glitchy bug enemies within the games, but they all have their own weird quirks. Like one of them was you were kind of looking down at a map and you were flipping around tiles to make a path to go to basically make your way to the exit while you're still attacking all of these bug glitchy dudes. The one that I just did, which was Coffee and Donuts, was like murder mystery inside of a mansion where each one of the rooms that you go into was a side-scrolling platformer with these same glitchy bug dudes you have to hack and slash your way through. So Travis has all of his tood from every previous No More Heroes game. He is still there. I really like the way that you unlock each one of these games in the Death Drive. When you finish one of the Death Drives, the way you unlock the next game is you go through a crud. What are those games called? I'm forgetting the genre. What is the genre for where Ace Attorney is? What, visual novel?
It's sort
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. You're basically doing an old MS-DOS visual novel to get Travis to get the next game. So like you're following Travis as he drives his motorcycle around the state of Texas to go and beat up some dude in a diner to go get the next game. Or
Well, that's
you
how
meet
we
like
get
this...
games here in Texas. We just go beat someone up.
It's very campy and very appropriate for what I expect going into this. But Travis's cat, like when you get into the visual novel section of the game, Travis's cat is an anthropomorphic anime cat girl that like has her own opinion of what the gamers really want to see. They don't want to they don't want to spend their whole afternoon reading. They want to get back to the next game. It's very tongue in cheek. They break the fourth wall on a regular basis. So, any questions?
I mean, it's been so long since I've seen anything with No More Heroes.
Okay.
Did you?
I will. Go ahead.
Did you know that his VR thing is an early model or something from? I think it's called Let It Die.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently it's like what he's using Mark II, and I think the Let It Die game is like Mark 20 or something.
Oh, cool. These things are really weird. Like the where was I going to go with that? Each one of the games that you get, instead of being cartridges, they look like eyeballs that you put into the game console. So each one of the games isn't called a game; it's called a death ball. You got to go get the next death ball for the death drive. The when you're playing, you get the power ups that you get are called skill cards, but they're basically like a little Switch game cartridge, and you put it into your Power Glove to unlock your next upgrade ability.
Of course you do.
It's so silly.
Did you have to take 356 attempts at the final boss?
I haven't beaten it yet. I am.
It's like halfway through.
Yeah, I'd say I'm just a little more than halfway through. I am about to start the 5th of 7 games.
Okay.
So there's tons of collectibles in this game, just like in previous No More Heroes games. I remember very well about the first game. There were all of the cards and T-shirts and stuff that you could collect. This game is very tongue-in-cheek in having tons of video game related shirts. Not video game related, but just straight up video game T-shirts that you can collect or purchase with in-game currency. So there's 3 different types of currency. You have Unreal Engine logos that you will find throughout the game, because this is an Unreal Engine 4 game. The Unreal Engine logos will purchase Unreal logo T-shirts.
Man, they really shouldn't do that. EA will get ideas.
I find it so silly, because it's like you can wear a Travis Strikes Again T-shirt while you play Travis Strikes Again. It's the logo of the game on his shirt. It's so silly.
It's great.
You also find these Aztec stones throughout the game, which is another currency that you use to buy rare T-shirts or T-shirts that they don't use just the regular currency for. And then the regular currency that you get from beating enemies or opening boxes or chests or whatever. But all of these shirts are literally video game shirts. They are based off of indie games that have partnered up with Suda51 or indie games that he has played and liked in the past. So weird games like Downwell and Pikuniku and Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartending, 2064 Read-Only Memories, Undertale. All of these games have T-shirts modeled after either the logo or some weird inside joke from the game. So it's very silly, and you boot up an old computer to go online and trade your in-game currency for these T-shirts. So he knows what he's doing, and you go to the bathroom to save your games just like you have in the past.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't be a No More Heroes game if you didn't have to watch Travis take a dump while you saved your game.
So I save my games every day.
Yeah, but it's I'm one of the coolest things that I haven't touched on yet is this game is co-op completely. So like as player 1 plays as Travis Touchdown, player 2 can take over Badman. You can play the entire game in shared screen co-op and go through and do the same stuff. Lauren and I, when I was playing Coffee and Donuts today, there were some platforms that I couldn't get to that may have had like an Aztec coin or an Unreal logo hidden on one of those platforms, but they don't give you enough time to get from the switch for the platform to the actual platform, so you need another person there to flip the switch while the other person's already at the opposite side of the screen.
Yeah.
So there's kind of an incentive to get a friend or a loved one to sit down and, even if it's just for 10 minutes, to help you get the collectibles, just to experience it. So it's pretty cool. I'm very much looking forward to digging into more of this, because they keep updating it, and I know there's some more special limited T-shirts coming, from what I understand. I'm trying to remember what. Oh, there was one that Micah shared recently. Follow Suda51 on Twitter. He keeps posting about this game all the time. I
can't imagine why.
Yeah, man, he trolled so hard this week, and I don't know what it is. He posted a picture of him and Sakurai together. Suda51 is holding up 3 fingers to the camera while they're both smiling at the camera for the picture. And the only wording he puts is like, "We're celebrating at the party," and no other explanation for this picture. So my
No More
mind
Heroes
immediately
3
goes
confirmed.
wild. Either it's No More Heroes 3 or the fact that he's posing with Sakurai. Maybe Travis Touchdown is coming to Smash. So, I don't know.
Or Sakurai's just a huge fan.
That too.
I
Never
mean,
know.
I guess it could be possible to see Travis in Smash.
If we got Bayonetta, we can have Travis.
So that is a good possibility.
And Joker. Gosh, I still can't believe we're getting Joker.
Well, if Travis is already a character, we just haven't got him in the DLC yet. Bum,
True.
bum,
I'm waiting for the Nintendo Direct that says is coming to Switch.
It's coming. It's totally going to happen. I would be willing to put a steak dinner on that. I would make a steak dinner bet that it's coming.
Well, Joker is going to be on the 3DS in Persona Q.
Very true.
So maybe that's how he gets in, and Persona 5 never comes to the Switch.
Blasphemy.
Don't speak like that. I want it portable.
I do too. I'd play a Persona game that way because, I couldn't have ever done that on the Vita.
You know, 3's portable, 4 is portable.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Persona games on the Vita?
Yeah. There's a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, that's it for me though.
Okay. What about you, Ethan?
Oh, what did I play? Oh, right. I played The Messenger.
What is The Messenger?
Ninja Gaiden.
It is Ninja Gaiden inspired type of. It's a Ninja Gaiden game that's not Ninja Gaiden. Because one, you're not dying constantly.
Okay.
So there's your first clue that it's not Ninja Gaiden. You play as a ninja in a ninja village. Because that's where ninjas come from.
They come from ninja villages.
Okay, so it's not Ninja Gaiden, it's Ninja Not Die.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're just this guy in your village. You're like unnamed or something. I don't really know.
I think his name is Ryu.
And like there's everyone in your village is ninjas. They're constantly training. And so you're like, I guess I'll go to training today. I've been skipping too much, and you get over to your master and he's like, "Oh, you showed up today. What a surprise." And then the big baddie shows up and everyone in your village pretty much gets taken out. But everyone's been training to help protect the village till the western there's some kind of traveler person. I think they call him the Westerner or something. Until he shows up, so that way he can save the day. And then, so big guy shows up, hurts everyone. You're still standing. This dude shows up, and he's not a ninja, but he's just as awesome. I think he's like an archer or something. And he's like, hands you this thing. He goes, I need you to deliver this to the top of the mountain. You're the messenger now, and you believe that he's the guy you were waiting for, and then you just go through this classic style game. Everything's, if anything, I would say it looks very Shovel Knight looking on the style as you go through it.
Yeah.
Fighting like demon ninja turtles that are not very athletic unless you find the running ones, and they're running. But eventually you reach the store, the storekeeper. So you go into this portal, you end up in the store, and the store's interdimensional, and that's when the game starts. It doesn't break the fourth wall ever. How do I explain this? Okay, there's an episode of Big Bang Theory where Leonard mentioned something about Sheldon complimenting him on thinking outside the box, but has to belittle him by saying, "You're thinking outside the box, but you're pressed right up against it." In this case, the game is pressed right up against the inside of the box, not breaking the fourth wall, but like just a little bit more, they will break through.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just kind of get all these fun little moments with the shopkeeper. Like if you try to open the cabinet he has, he gets mad at you, and it's kind of like a Mr. Rossetti thing where he's not going to let you do it, and then eventually he just gives you this long speech that's unskippable. You can't rush through it. You have to wait for the text to fill in and everything. But you got your wall jumps, you get abilities like a glide.
Do eagles knock you bottomless pit?
There are bottomless pits. There's not really eagles or skeleton birds. And I guess they have the potential to knock you into a bottomless pit. So that's possible, yeah. Each level on there has a unique, we'll say, setting. Like the bamboo forest has uh, some kind of mechanics towards traversing through platforms that are on. They have a crank system to pull the platform from one side to the other or something. So that's pretty cool. Then you got your lava area where you got lava pits to avoid, and lava rises and falls. Just little things like that. And then eventually you get to the tower, and you get one of the best moments on there where there's like three sages or something, and you realize one of them was actually the store owner, and they're like, okay, so one guy's been practicing giving a speech, so he's about to give it, and says something like the messenger needs to hold the scroll aloft or something. So your guy just holds it straight out. And they're like, no, you need to hold it higher. And so he just lifts it a little bit higher, and that's like your final boss or something.
Interesting.
Or it's what I thought it was the final boss, according to what I found out or what I saw at GDQ.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole other half of the game after that.
Really?
Yeah, you beat the boss, and then stuff happens, and then you end up in a 16-bit era, and you get a really cool hat. So that's a cool thing, and you have a different outfit on, and you just keep going, and eventually you get to go for a better ending and such on there.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm currently working towards.
Does the game feel like, obviously it takes some inspiration from Ninja Gaiden? Visually, it looks a lot like it. Does the combat feel like that? Does it feel more modern?
Your combat consists of a sword swipe.
Okay.
One of the first upgrades you can take is the ability to cut down enemy projectiles. So you if you have the fire spitters that you run into early on, you can just cut their flames out of the air, and that prevents them, or that makes it easier for you to just rush the enemy instead of having to jump over their attacks. And most enemies on there are like 1 to 3 hits, depending. Like Most enemies on there will be one hit, others will be 2 to 3. And then you have your set of boss characters, which are a whole different story. They're kind of it's like find a way to get to the weak point. It's
Yeah.
the thing for most of the bosses on the game. Um, you don't have a double jump on here, but you do have a cloud step or cloud jump. I don't know what it's called. And so you jump in the air, and if you hit something with your sword, such as the lanterns, which is how you get money or recovery or something most of the time, that'll replenish your jump midair so you can jump again. And so as long as you have something to hit repeatedly, you can just stay in the air the whole time.
It's an interesting way to do that.
And then eventually you get a I think what it's a rope dart.
Yeah.
I think that's what they called it, and they said, but you'll probably just call it a grapple hook anyway. And so, grapple hook. You get that, and it's only a vertical thing, and it'll rush you towards an enemy, and you do an instant attack on them or through them, and you can get some good momentum going with that. And then I think the only other real attack you get is with your glide. You get a downward attack if you're in glide mode or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched a little bit of one of your streams. This was a game that was sort of on my radar, but now after seeing you play it for a while, it's definitely one I want to give a shot and see what I think of it.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad I have it. I would have happily paid money for it after seeing it played at GDQ, but it was free on Twitch Prime not that long ago.
Yeah.
Which it's too late to probably get that now, of course, because I think it was 2 months ago or so. But the game had only been out maybe 6 months at that time, and it already went free to download or to be
Now
given
that you
away.
say that, I think I might have attached it to my Twitch account. I don't remember.
It shouldn't be too taxing on PC. I mean, it runs really great on mine, but then again, I'm running on a fairly new system. Um, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to spoil anything on there because the story on there is great. I was cracking up at stuff when I finally did start playing the game.
Yeah.
There's some good story in there. We'll just go with
That's
that.
good. It does seem like one of those games, if you like sort of like fast-paced, side-scrolling
Yeah,
platformers, it's one you might enjoy.
yeah, and all the bosses on there have some unique stuff. We'll go with that. And the game's fairly lenient with your save points or checkpoints. Oh, and if you get defeated in combat, a little devil guy comes and saves you, and then he follows you around for a little bit to collect his reward for saving you. And each time you get a game over, he pops up and has some fun little comment on the screen, and in most cases, it will actually break the fourth wall on there.
Really?
He said, "Well, you can just blame that one on lag input." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna do that," even though I just walked straight into a death pit because why not? So yeah, the Messenger. It's a great game. If you're interested in Ninja Gaiden type stuff, I would highly recommend getting that.
Cool. It does sound like it's going to be really good. Well, is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I have been playing the usual suspects, Warframe, all those other
Destiny
things.
2, yeah.
No, I have not been playing Destiny.
Oh,
All right.
Minecraft?
I did play a little bit of Minecraft this week with the kids.
really?
Yeah. There was an update that added a bunch of stuff to Minecraft this week, and so I took that opportunity. They wanted me to play with them for a while, so I did. Um, End up playing with them. Added a bunch of stuff for like new signs. There's some other new things out as well. I don't remember everything. Um, but they did ask to play, and I played with them for a little bit. No, but the game I wanted to talk about was one that sort of just surprise launched this week.
Oh.
I think there might have been some rumblings about it over the weekend by our friends over at Respawn.
We have friends
guys
at Respawn?
I wish I had some friends at Respawn. No, I don't though. Apex Legends dropped this week, just out of nowhere. It was a game nobody had heard about. I hadn't heard anything about it. Even if there were people talking about the game coming, I heard nothing. It is a game set in the Titanfall universe.
Yeah, I doubt it.
But it is not Titanfall 3.
It is definitely not Titanfall.
It is not Titanfall. There are no Titans in the game.
So what kind of game is this? Because when I hear Apex Legends, I think racing.
So, have you heard of a game called Fortnite?
Yes.
Never heard of it. Tell me more about it.
It is a battle royale game.
What's that?
It's Fortnite.
Is that the MOBAs these kids are playing these days?
Because people like playing MOBAs now because everybody's playing Fortnite.
Exactly.
So it's the game that people that play MOBAs want everybody else to play.
It's the game MMO guys want everyone else to play as well.
That's true. It's a battle royale style game. You pick a character. It's not. You have one character and you can just put skins on top of them. They're actually different character classes or types. I think there are 8 in total, and you have 6 unlocked from the beginning, and then there are 2 that you can buy to gain access to them.
So it's Overwatch Battle Royale. Got it.
And then it's different from other games like Fortnite or PlayerUnknown's Battleground. There's one game type right now. Is you and 2 people drop in as a squad.
Mm-hmm.
It is always 3-player squads, mm-hmm. Or I've had some games where it didn't match 2 other players. It only matched me up with 1 because I don't know if there were not enough people or the matchmaking just didn't give us another player to play with. 1 player acts as the jump master, and they pick the location on the battlefield where your squad is going to drop. You can offer suggestions to where you think that you can pick a place on the map. You can hit a button, it'll say, I think we should drop here. But ultimately, the person who is acting as the jump master has the final say in where your squad is going to jump. And that will rotate on a random basis. So one match, you may not be the jump master, but then the next match, you actually are. And then if you don't want to make the decision, there's actually a button for you to relinquish the jump master role and give it to somebody. So when you pick your character, you necessarily get the character that you want to play as that round. What it does is it assigns you randomly to pick first, second, or third. And then there's a countdown timer. And the first player will pick their character, the second player will pick their character, and the third player will pick their character. And you can't duplicate characters in a squad. So if one person picks the character that you like, you can't use that character. You have to pick one of the other classes. And from there, once you drop into the match, it's basically at that point, first-person shooter battle royale stuff. You are looking for weapons. You don't have any weapons when you start. You have to go find them. And the last squad alive wins. But unlike other battle royale games, if you get shot and you die, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are out of the game. There are a couple of different things that can happen. First is if an enemy character takes you down, doesn't completely kill, one of your it can slams this giant like needle in your chest and revives you, and you're right back into the fight with everything you had. If they do take you out completely, what happens is where you died, a banner for your character will appear there. And if one of the squad mates can go and retrieve your banner and then take it to this predetermined place, they can actually bring you back into the fight, and you'll start back with all the equipment you had. It's like you didn't die. So in other games like Fortnite or PUBG, once you die, most people will just drop out of the match and try to get back into another one. With this one, you don't want to do that because there is a chance, and I think they've got 2 minutes of game time to where they can grab your banner and revive you before you would completely drop out of the match.
Okay, that's kind of cool because I personally have tried to play PUBG, and it's the most discouraging thing when you spend 20 minutes investing yourself between a lobby, between dropping down to the world and finally getting some equipment and getting 1 kill under your belt, and then you get into the zone and you just get like it's 20 minutes down the drain. It's discouraging and upsetting. That's why I don't like those types of games.
I completely understand that. This game is trying to change some of that stuff, and it also because you're always in squads, a lot of it relies on you being able to communicate with your squad mates effectively. So of course voice chat is obviously the best way to do that, but they know not everybody has a microphone or not everybody likes to use a microphone, so there are lots of in the game that you can do to communicate with your squad mates without ever actually vocally communicating. So you can like walk up to some weapons and hit a button and it will say, you know, there's weapons over here. Or if you have your reticle on an enemy target, you can actually call out their position to your squad mates and say there's an enemy over there, and it'll give them a basic idea of where on the battlefield that enemy was when you hit that button. So it's really interesting in the way they're trying to change up some of the things that people don't like about battle royales while still keeping that battle royale, backbone there. There's currently one map. It's free to play, so you can just download it, play it. It is, it's done by Respawn. They know how to make shooters, and it feels really good. The shooting itself feels really good. The movement feels good. If you've played Titanfall, don't expect Titanfall style stuff in there. You don't get the wall jumps. You don't get Titans. You don't get super fast, crazy movement, but it feels solid and it feels really good. So if you're not really interested in the battle royale genre, maybe this is something you might be interested in because it feels a little regular standard shooter, but at its heart it's still a battle royale. So I enjoyed the few minutes that I had with it. I don't think it's one that's going to stick with me for very long, but it's been fun. I can see the appeal of it, especially if you don't like games like Fortnite, like with you, Shannon, where if you get in and you can't find a weapon, you get killed really quickly. It does get frustrating, but because of the ways they've done things, where having teammates that work well together and teammates that can get to you quickly and revive you makes it so that you don't feel that sort of frustration of just constantly dying all the time, because there are ways to get you back into the fight.
Well, that's good.
So it might be one that you might want to check out and see. I haven't had a chance to play with friends. I've been playing with random people. I'd be interested in if we had a group of guys that got together to play that together, how enjoyable it would be. But that is what I've been playing. So unless you guys have any other questions, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about the news. All right, we got some news on a couple of video game related movies. And Shannon, I think the first one is of particular interest to you.
Absolutely.
Warner Brothers in Japan and Level 5 are teaming up to make a Ni no Kuni movie.
So this is both awesome and surprising because, number one, it should have been a movie to begin with. I'm amazed that this idea was never taken off the ground. Like, the thing that's surprising about it to me is, why in the world is Studio Ghibli not the one taking over? Like,
Yeah.
They were the partner for the original film or for the original game, and it's totally modeled after between their storytelling methods and the animation. It is Ghibli through and through. I don't know why they're doing WB. Not to say WB does bad work. Their WB Animation Studios is pretty awesome, but
Studio Ghibli didn't do the second one, did they?
no, they lost. They didn't bother partnering with Ghibli for 2 at all. So
I don't know.
I don't know either. There might be some bad blood there, or maybe Miyazaki not really being part of the crew anymore may have ruined that, or I don't know.
I suppose that is possible. Not that far away. It's set to come out in Japan this summer. So this is obviously they've been working on this for, looks like maybe, according to the news story I saw, let me see, it's been in the works for the last 10 years.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if maybe Studio Ghibli was involved at some point and they've just, they're not finishing and Warner Brothers is taking over, or if Warner Brothers and Level 5 have been doing this the whole time. OLM is doing the animation. And they're most well known for Pokemon and the Inazuma 11 series.
Okay. That's fairly capable hands.
Yeah. So a little bit about the plot. Yu is a high school student and his best friend is Haru, and his childhood friend is Kotana. Through a certain incident, they travel back and forth between reality and Ni no Kuni. When Katana's life is put in danger, the three must make the ultimate choice.
Ooh. This is a
Video
unique
games
story.
Or life.
So yeah, they're not like adapting either of the video games, it seems like.
That's cool.
So
A deeper dive into the world of Ni no Kuni from a different perspective. That's definitely cool.
I wonder if there'll be a third game in the series. So, but yeah,
I think the third game may be completely based off of how well the film does.
It's possible. I don't know how the second game sold. Do you guys have any idea?
So I don't know specific numbers, but I will tell you right now, they way overproduced the collector and premium edition. Like they took the fire that came from the Wizards edition and thought that Ni no Kuni 2 was going to take off like a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
So they made, I think, something in the neighborhood of 25,000 of the collector's edition, which was originally like a $200 retail purchase. And nowadays we're seeing those collector's editions clearanced down to like $60 or $70. So, and the game, I think the game still hasn't had its second DLC released. They sold a season pass at launch, and we're coming up on a year post release, and they still haven't completed the season pass.
Wow.
So, I don't know. Like it's not a bad game. I've dabbled with it. I have not completed it, but I don't know. I just don't think it sold very well. I think they expected Lightning to strike twice and oversold to retailers.
Hmm. I wonder if part of it is because Studio Ghibli didn't do any work on that second game, and that sort of soured it a little bit for fans of the first one.
It is entirely possible because, believe it or not, Ghibli, I mean, just that name sells stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Like Disney over here.
right. But that's not to say that the animation is any different. They just, those Studio Ghibli animated cutscenes, because like the original game, both on the DS and on the PS3, those games had Studio Ghibli hand drawn cutscenes, and they are just not at all in Ni no Kuni 2. The animation is still the same. It's still that really high cel shaded, colorful, very foliage forward artwork style. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing that Ghibli is known for, and I don't know. It's just, I guess, not having them there may have hurt the promotion for the sequel.
I don't know.
They didn't have Digital River.
Oh God, are they still around as a company?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just, man. Speaking as someone with experience on two separate purchase orders from different retailers that both used Digital River as a distribution service, I feel I seriously feel for anyone who ever has to deal with them. Past, present, and future. It is not a pleasant experience. There are right ways to handle distribution of limited media, and Digital River is not it.
They have not done a good job.
No.
All right, but then our second little bit of news is that the Monster Hunter movie has a premiere date.
Huh.
So, September 4th, 2020 is when the movie will come out.
That's like a year and a half away.
Yep. I know they've been doing filming. I don't know if filming is finished. But yeah, they have a year and a half now to make sure all the monsters are in the game, and that Devil Joe has the proper,
The movie, not the game.
not the movie. Sorry, and that Devil Joe looks as scary as he's supposed to. So, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that September 4th, 2024, Resident Evil Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
That's what that's going to be.
Yeah.
And then
you can hear the excitement that doesn't exist in my voice.
you got to think positively, Ethan.
I'm positively sure this movie's not going to be that good.
I don't know. We'll see.
Let down the movie.
Oh, that's sad. But just think that maybe 2020 you'll get Mila Jovovich DLC in Monster Hunter World.
Ugh.
Do everything in my power to avoid that DLC.
So you have that to look forward to.
And unfriend anyone who uses that DLC.
That's harsh.
Maybe. The punishment's got to fit the crime.
Okay, that's true.
And since I can't do that, I have to go with unfriending them.
Just go to their house and delete the game from their system.
Ugh. And the cloud
And the
save
save file. so they have to start all over again. And our last little bit of news comes from Nintendo's recent financial briefing, where President Shuntaro Furukawa, that's not as easy to say as some of their past presidents' names. He was talking about the 3DS market and noted that it has contracted faster than they anticipated. So,
Oh, that's what he meant by contracted. I didn't understand. I was like, people got contracts. Oh, that's weird.
no, it's getting
Yeah,
much smaller, much faster than they thought it would.
got
I
it.
guess because they had said they were supporting it through 2018. I think they were looking to maybe support it a little more into 2019. But the success of the Switch, I think, has sped up the decline of the 3DS.
I'm just gonna say I completely saw this coming. I saw the writing on the wall. We only have two more releases slated for this year, and it's all over.
Well, one of them came out this week. Yokai Watch came out on Friday, which was one of the two big releases that they had. The other one is Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, which comes out in March.
And we also have Persona Q2.
That's true, and Persona. But other than that, I've looked recently at their upcoming list of games, and that is it for the 3DS. They've got a couple small things, and then they've got the last little bit of DLC for Shovel Knight, which will be coming to the 3DS. They have nothing past March. Nothing.
Has that been a fit? So they are putting the final update for Shovel Knight on the 3DS?
That is still on their upcoming list of stuff to come out. So
Okay, that'll be cool. This is King Knight, right?
yeah.
Okay, sweet. That's exciting.
But yeah, outside of that, the 3DS I think is officially going to die in 2019.
It's not dead until the eShop dies. I'm just gonna say.
Well, not officially, but there's not going to be anything, I think, for the 3DS after June at the latest. If they do have anything else that's like a surprise release, I think the Switch has finally proven that it is a system that people want. A lot of the biggest titles for the 3DS are now making that move over to the Switch. I think the release of the first proper Pokemon game later this year will be that signal that the 3DS is officially dead.
So one thing I will say is retailers are totally catching on to this too. I don't know. It was the second week in January. Target started taking all of their 3DS stuff and fire sailing it out. Like I want to say we got. I mean, because we recently purchased a 2DS for Travis when he had surgery back in October.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, everything that was a Nintendo Selects game. So, Link Between Worlds, Link to the Past, or Ocarina of Time,
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Well,
that
Majora's
just
Mask,
came to the.
Yeah, I would say that wasn't at the time, but
Apparently, people are having trouble finding that one now too.
Not surprisingly, it's a great game. Lots to try that. Tomodachi Life, Donkey Kong Country 3D Land. Yeah, there was just a ton of them, but they were all like $5. Target they don't even have shelf space. Like if most of the Target stores that we walked into around Memphis when we were trying to pick these up, they don't even have dedicated aisle space for 3DS anymore. It's on like an end cap or a tiny little space in their value games section. So it's the writing's on the wall, and the moment I start seeing systems go clearance price, I think that'll be the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. I'd still like to pick up a 2DS and maybe a 2DS XL, like the original brick 2DS, and then
You can get. I will say this: like what we did when we bought Travis's, we ordered it directly from Nintendo
yeah.
because I mean, they're refurbished or Nintendo recertified, whatever. Those systems are always immaculate. Like they put new shell. It might be an old motherboard and like old screen and stuff inside
Hmm.
of the machine, but it's a brand new battery. It's a brand new shell. You're never going to get one that's scratched up, and it still comes with the same 12-month warranty as if you'd have bought it brand new from the store. And
Yeah,
I think they're like $50 with free shipping.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's insanely cheap.
Mm. So yeah, and I have seen or have said that I think the 3DS, its time has come. That system is 8 years old now. Um, and I really thought 2018 was going to be the last year that anything big came out for the 3DS. Um, but with nothing, not even any eShop games on the horizon past March, I think that is Nintendo has finally realized that it's time for the Switch to move on. Even though they keep saying that there is still room for the 3DS and the Switch in the current market, I, I don't know that that's true anymore. That system is really starting to show its age at this point. And Nintendo still is pushing that concept of we want multiple Switches in every household. Um, and I think until they finally tell people, you know what, we're done with the 3DS, it's over. Everything we do from this point on is going on to the Switch. There's still going to be people that pick up a 3DS.
If they have a better account system for handling digital content, we would have another Switch in this house.
That's the only thing that's kept me from getting a second one.
Yeah.
Um,
They need to have it just honor content regardless of system as long as you're logged into whatever account owns the content license.
yeah. And once they finally do that, I would pick up a second Switch in a heartbeat. I know we really want and really need a second one in the house because there's a lot of times that a lot of people want to use it at the same time.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to buy those games multiple times so that we can have the games on multiple systems. And that's the one thing that sort of kept me hanging on to picking up physical games. Um, because with things like Mario Odyssey or Smash Brothers, I know that there are going to be people that want to play that if we had multiple systems. And I'm not buying those games twice or three times just so that everybody can play them.
Yeah.
But once they do finally get that figured out, there'd be no reason for me not to pick up a second Switch. So, but that will be it for the news. So let's move on to listener feedback. And our first one comes from Lang via Twitter, who actually sent this to us last week, but I missed it. It came in from Twitter, and I just didn't see it, so I told him I'd put it in this week. And it is the first question we have. And he says, as of last week, I spent the past 3 days absorbing everything Kingdom Hearts 3 and have never been more emotionally invested and more emotionally spent at the end of it all. What was the last game that took you for a roller coaster of emotions, excluding Kingdom Hearts 3? So,
So I completely feel Lang on this one. Kingdom Hearts does do a really good job at bringing closure to a whole lot of stuff.
mm-hmm.
Um, but as far as I've brought this up before, Radiant Historia um, did a really good job at in helping me invest emotionally into side characters just to rip the rug right out from under each one of them. Like you spend hours and hours building up a backstory and building up a reason why this character matters, and then to brutally murder them right in front of your face. And it's like you set down the game and you just need a minute to collect yourself because it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I keep going back to The Last of Us. That's the last game that I really remember having different types of very strong emotional responses to from the very beginning of the game, um, all the way through the end of it, where you could feel those moments of despair with the characters, those few moments of happiness that they would have, followed very quickly by other moments of fear or sadness or whatever. But that is, I think, the best example that I have of any game like that, in quite a while, would be The Last of Us.
Persona 5. Yeah.
Okay.
No, there
What
was
what in particular? I'm very curious.
just like getting mad like at the situation that the main character is in and the other characters what they've gone through, and then like just the bonding, and he's like, oh, okay, I like this character and excited to see this stuff happening, and then
Hmm.
it's just back and forth because you keep having to get back into the problematic stuff on there, and then you get to the ending point where you open that one big gel cell, and that character that comes out of there, you're like, oh my gosh. And it's just, yeah. And then everyone's cheering you on at the end.
Resident Evil was another one for you
Was I
with
really that
Mr.
excited
X.
about that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, alright. Resident Evil 2. Because Mr. X on there is a frightening character. He's chasing you the majority of the time. He's got one heck of a punch, and if you get it on PC, there's now a mod where it'll play X Gonna Give It to You. So you know where he's at instead of having to listen for the big clumps of his footsteps. Instead you hear that playing in the background. And it's muffled like it's through walls and stuff when he's not in the same room, so it's great. Takes a frightening situation, makes it a little more awesome.
Another one that I think just popped into my head, another example of one would be Yakuza Kiwami. There were some times in that with Kazuma and him having to take care of that little girl that I remember feeling a bunch of different emotions through that game as well. Um, so,
Yeah, that game
but
series definitely has a emotional roller coaster.
yeah, so I need to pick up Kiwami too. I really do.
I just need to
And
play the games that I have.
I've had a bunch of people reminding me that six was on sale for super cheap, and I'm like, I don't want to play six until I've gotten through two and three and four and five.
Apparently, there's a big
So
push for those to come to PC these days. Apparently, I didn't know about.
really,
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been coming out usually about a year or so after the PS4 equivalent does.
yeah. Let's see. And then our last question this week comes from Nathan via Facebook and wants to know: do you think the Mushroom Kingdom suffers from inflation thanks to the abundance of gold coins floating around everywhere, especially in New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS?
I've never played that one.
I never I never
They have
even
a lot of
considered
gold
it.
coins in that game.
Yeah, there is a like I forget what happened when you collected 1,000,000 coins across everything. Was it
You
just a
just
change in the
changes your
title
title
screen?
screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they put a lot of emphasis on trying to get to that million coin mark
Yeah.
in that game. So yeah, there is some definitely, I think, some like hyperinflation going on in the Mushroom Kingdom. That gold must be almost worthless if you need that much of it to be able to do anything.
You know, I played Super Mario RPG, and there wasn't any inflation to buy your weapons and stuff. That even though you're trying to save the kingdom, and then
Yeah.
you get to the end and you get the box that has just unlimited coins, and no one seems to give any second thought to that. So I was like, all right, free money here in Bowser's Castle because
Yeah.
that's a thing.
course, then you've got like Wario, who had for a very brief moment that bag of infinite money in Wario Land Shake It, where he could just shake the bag and get as much money as he wanted. So,
I mean, if I had a bag full of infinite gold coins, I could just buy all the games I ever wanted.
all Wario, I think once Wario gets a castle, I think he'd finally settle down and stop trying.
He had a
stop being
castle
so
and
evil.
he ruined it.
So, well, that's why he keeps going back for the money to try to get another castle.
And then we'd have another Mario Land situation on consoles.
I just want another Wario Land game. Shake It was the last one we got, and that one was like a decade ago.
You should play
Shake
the
It was
Virtual Boy
great.
game.
That was a fantastic game, and had some very nice animation. So I would love for that game, either a re-release of Shake It on the Switch or just another Wario Land game to come out.
Wario Land Virtual Boy for 3DS.
Yeah, that'll be a surprise E3 announcement this year. And it will be the last game that comes to the 3DS. So, there you go. That will be the show for this week.
Wait, I got one better. Waluigi's
Okay.
Land.
What would that even be?
I don't know.
Like, I've thought about a Waluigi game, but I have no idea what a Waluigi game would even be like.
Disappointing.
That's sad. That's sad. That's a great way to end the show. On a disappointing Waluigi game. But that will be it for the show. So thank you, Shannon, for being on the show this week.
Pleasure as always.
And Ethan, thank you as well.
Why does Sword Art Online keep getting anime series?
Because
Oh.
people keep watching it. If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.